Did Adam LZ steal my video? All right, guys, let's take a drive and talk. So the question at hand here today is, did Adam LZ steal my video? And it's a larger conversation to be had, to be honest, and that's why I want to have this. It's not to throw shame or throw blame or cry or anything like that. It's really just to have a conversation and to tell you guys how I felt about the whole situation, and kind of talk about the topic as a whole, because it's definitely something that happens and needs to be addressed or taken care of by whoever experienced it, I think. In this scenario, earlier this week, I was kind of minding my own business, scrolling around on Instagram, and I saw a video that looked strikingly similar to a video that we made earlier in the year called the AMG call, where it was a reel form video where I basically used the surge tank off of the M113K as kind of like a conch shell or blowhorn, and made a call out to the world, and had a bunch of my buddies from different parts of the world respond with videos of their own by kind of, you know, pretending like they're hearing the sound from a distance, and everyone knows like, oh, it's time to go, it's an AMG call. So it was super fun. It was really fun to put together. It took me honestly like months of planning, because trying to get, I don't know how many people were in the video total, maybe like around 10 or so, and there was probably more that I reached out to that didn't give me something in time, but it took quite a while to get everyone on the same page, to get an explanation of what, you know, what I'm trying to get from them, and what we're trying to put together, and then for them to be able to have time to film it, get it back to me, etc., and then I got to edit all down into one piece. So it took months, and it's like a minute long, you know, short form vertical video. So a lot of planning involved. Definitely what I would label as a unique idea. I think I have a weird imagination or weird mind in general, so I think all of us do in some ways, but it's definitely a unique idea for me. It came out of the blue, like, oh, I just saw the surge tank and I was like, this would be so funny if I kind of call out to all these people using this as my, you know, blowhorn, and, you know, kind of came up with that video just spontaneously, and was excited about it. So after all those months putting together, release it, etc., gets, you know, really good feedback from you guys and from everybody. Cool experience, cool memory, and definitely something I plan on doing basically annually now as like a tradition, you know, the AMG call. So I already have in the works for this year what we're going to be doing. And I think it's just a fun thing that I can do. So that's where all this started. And like I said, I saw that video on Instagram from Adam LZ, who, by the way, I mean, no harm to, no disrespect to. I'm a fan of his channel. I love his builds and his content. I think he has a really cool team of people. Johan, his fabricator, and Booth, and all these other guys that he works with and interacts with. I think he has a really cool setup, and you know, I think any of us car guys would dream to have a compound like that, or a setup like that, where you can get as much done as you can and all that stuff. So I mean, no disrespect to him directly as a person or anything like that, but yeah, I see this video, and his is basically a call out to his world tour and his drift series that he does, and it's a call out to all the people that are going to be on the tour. And at first, when I saw it, first thing I said, like I said earlier, it was obvious that there was a similarity. As soon as I saw it, he picks up what looks like to be a intake manifold. I'll have to look back at it again, but I think it's an intake manifold for maybe like a JZ or something, and picks it up, and the blowhorn sound starts, and I'm like, wait, what? And then it switches to the same stuff, like I think it's first Randy from Eliminate, and then it goes to so and so and so and so, all doing their reactions, and the sound playing in the background, and I'm like, okay, now I'm really looking, because I'm like, wait, this is this is like the same thing. And at that point, after I get through a little bit, I'm like, did they like tag me in this or something, or like link me down below or something? Like what's going on here? Nothing's there. So I don't know, I was kind of like in shock, to be honest, for a moment, because I was like, this is like the exact same idea. And at first in my mind, I'm like, all right, maybe they just randomly thought of the exact same thing. But then I look at it more and more people are seeing it, and people are sending it to me. People are commenting back or messaging me back saying like, yo, this is a copy, this is like stealing, this is... So I start more and more as the days go on, I'm like, this actually looks like they just straight like saw my reel, copied it, and then decided to make their own version of it. Which, everything's with a grain of salt here, because it's the internet, it happens. But at the same time, the thing that I said earlier about this is a common thing that happens is, a lot of times bigger brands, bigger, you know, people that have a following around them for whatever, get away with stuff like this, where they'll just straight take somebody's IP, ideas, their swag, whatever, their designs, their style, whatever you want to call it, and then just use it for their own and not give any credit where credit in most likely case is due. And I won't sit and hold my breath waiting for anything like that. And it's, I mean, how can you even track or worry about something like that on the internet, of all things? But it's just, it's disappointing, I guess, in a way of like, you know, I really enjoy watching this person. I'm subscribed to the channel, all this other different stuff, and it seems like it's undoubtedly just how close it is that somebody from his team saw my reel at some point and wanted to make their own version of it, and that's all good. I'm flattered if that's the case, but it's like, you should give credit if you're just gonna like straight copy and paste an idea like that, because in this case it's me, so I'm like, I don't mean to talk about myself right now, but for those people that were the original creators of whatever it is that somebody else uses and doesn't give credit for, it's like they put all that time and effort in, and then it just gets copied without anything said. And again, guys, this is the internet, this is Instagram, this happens every day with people taking other people's photos and posting them as their own, with people taking other videos and posting them as their own, or just, you know, literally screen recording a video and then posting it, and it'll get just as many views. So it's the internet, it's the Wild West. But it's still like kind of struck a nerve in a way of just like, this just doesn't feel good, it doesn't feel right. It just felt kind of like gross, like, dang, dude, like this big brand that I follow and support couldn't even like just say where they got the idea from, when it's something so blatantly similar, like almost identical to what we originally made. So it's just a larger conversation to be had, and something I didn't want to just like stay quiet about, mostly because it was bothering me, feeling like if I wasn't going to talk about it, I would rather just talk about it, and put it out there and air out my feelings instead of like bottling it up in some way, which is silly. But it's just kind of how I felt about it. And this happens all the time. There's other examples just this week of people using other people's things and trying to pass it off as their own. It happens in our community all the time with cars and Benzes and all this different stuff. People take people's ideas for builds, or they take people's ideas for how to do things, and they maybe give credit, maybe don't. This is not the first time this has happened to me with something like this. There's been times where I've spent, you know, hours of my own time out of my own good faith of helping somebody out, and then when the time comes, they act like they solved whatever problem they did on their own, and like they had no help, like they had, you know, they're just a magic genie that didn't call on anybody for help for anything. So like I said, it's just a larger conversation to be had, and I think I want to say something because it's important to me. Like, and this goes back to my design days. Like, for those that know, I'm a designer. That's what I used to do before I started teaching. I teach design now, and this goes into something that's like borderline with what we call like spec work, you know, like getting people to do other work for you and then leading them on to think that they're gonna get something from it, and then not actually following through with that, or not paying for work that you got, or, you know, getting designs from them and just using them as your own. So it like hits a nerve with that. So I think that's where most of my feelings were coming from, was just thinking about that time, and so many people trying to mistake kindness for weakness, or mistake being inexperienced for not being knowledgeable. And people do it all the time. People try to get things for free all the time, and, you know, whatever. Sometimes that works out for people, but a lot of times those people that are just begging for free stuff or begging for this and that, they're the people that will try to manipulate you, or try to, you know, take advantage of you in some kind of way, and then take credit for it as their own. And that's kind of the conversation, the larger umbrella conversation to be had. So it's just one of those things. I felt like not trying to get clout off of LZ's name, and like I said, I don't mean any disrespect. There's no physical proof of them just blatantly stealing my idea or copying my idea like that, but from what's laid out, it's pretty identical, and it would have just been a cool move of them to be like, hey, we saw this video from Anderson's IG, we thought it was super cool, so we remade our own version of it for the World Tour Call, and all good. The video is better than mine, I'll admit that. I have no problem saying that, and it should be. They have a large company with full-time, you know, people. They got Divine Media doing all the content for them, and they're shooting with extreme quality stuff, and you know, it was a super awesome video. So there's no discredit to that, and discredit to them as peoples or anything like that. It's just, you should throw credit, especially to people that are up and coming, you know, where they used to be at one point. And I'm sure everybody in almost any industry gets taken advantage of at some point by somebody that's higher up the totem pole than them at that time. And maybe at some point you make it to an equal level. Maybe at some point they fall off that level because they repeatedly treat people like that. But I can almost guarantee, without knowing LZ as an individual, obviously, I can guarantee almost that he's been duped or taken advantage of probably a handful of times in his journey on YouTube and in the automotive industry and etc. So that's why I think it's so much more important to not end up accidentally stepping into that persona or realm of things, of like, you know, taking credit for somebody else's work, or you know, just not doing the right thing by not giving credit where it's due. So yeah, strange conversation to have with you guys. It's a weird feeling. It was like a good feeling, because this huge company that I look up to, follow, and millions of people look up to and follow, basically use my ideas. It was cool. Like, it gives you inspiration of, hey, like, I'm thinking of the same things that these bigger brands are thinking of. And in reality, that's the case more times than not. It's just the resources that a full-on company like LZMFG has versus me, I'm kind of a one-man army right now, and I'm not complaining about it. It's just where I'm at. those resources make a huge difference when it comes to time and money and availability and all the things. So, and he's earned that. They've earned that. They've worked hard, obviously, over the years to get to that point. So it was a dual edge, I guess. Good and bad feeling, sweet and sour. It was cool to see the idea being used again, but it felt low to not be thrown any credit for it. So that's just my honest feelings about it, and I don't have to like hide that or be ashamed of feeling like that. It's just, that's my honest truth of how it felt. Like, at first it was a high. As the days went on and more people were like, dude, he totally stole from you, totally this and that, the more people that said that, and the more I watched it, I was like, well, this is like pretty identical. Then the more like kind of like, this doesn't feel so good feeling started to kick in. And even companies that work with both of us reached out saying like, I almost sent this to you because I thought you guys had like talked about it somehow because it was so identical. I tried to tag him in a few stories. He's not going to see it, obviously, most likely, because he has, you know, 1 million followers on Instagram. His inbox is probably absolutely flooded. So he'll likely never see it, or if he does, maybe it'll be a year from now. And maybe one day we cross paths and he realizes that happened. And there's also a very good likelihood that he has no idea, and it was somebody from his team that found it and tried to pass off the idea as their own. That's a very, very real likelihood, probably more likely than anything else, because I don't think he's sitting there scrolling IG reels very often, I would assume, with how busy his schedule seems like it is. It's probably somebody low on his team, not low isn't, but like, you know, lower tier role, I guess, on their team, or lesser role, that maybe they're trying to make a name for themselves in the company and saw the reel and was like, hey, this would be a great idea for me to pitch to Adam. And they're not going to have a clue because that person is being disingenuous, approaching them and passing off the idea as their own for Adam to be able to use. So it's catch-22, many situations, but that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed the cruise and talk in the C36. But it's just a chance to catch in with you guys, check in with you guys, and just tell you a weird story of how I felt. There was other drama this week that I'm not going to get into because it's not my brand, it's not my business. There were some words exchanged on social media between the companies, and I chimed in a bit. But essentially, it's the same type of thing. Somebody tried to pass off somebody else's parts as their own, and just not right. Just don't do it. And if you do it, give credit if it's genuine and you clearly say that there's credit given. And if you don't do that and then you get called out for it, don't turn into a crying baby about it, and give credit and apologize. The brand that I'm talking about at hand, they tried to give partial credit, but then they didn't act right afterwards, and they didn't give credit afterwards in the video anyways. So just don't fall on that side of things, guys. And I can't tell you how to live, so I can't even really say don't to you. But for me, I'm just not interested in doing that to anybody. I give credit to everything. Like, it doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter if a person messaged me with something that ends up being useful for me. If they got 5 followers on Instagram and like I've never met them in person, I don't know their real name, I'm still gonna give them some type of shout out in a video. And if somebody really goes out of their way to help me and they provide all the information and like just really give me a roadmap and we exchange knowledge and all this stuff, I'm gonna give them all the credit in the world. Like, I just don't know how people live like that. I don't know how people trust themselves like that. And I just couldn't do it. So I can't tell you guys how to live. can't say don't to you or don't do this, don't do that. But I'm just telling you guys my feelings and my morals of what I would and would not do. So we're gonna keep going like that on this channel, and hope you guys support that and find congruency with that, alignment with that, and that's it. So enjoy your guys' weekends. I'm sorry that I just haven't got much out to you guys this week. We had a video on Monday for the Z-Tronics install. I'm finishing that up on the CLK, but there's a few more things I gotta figure out, and I haven't been able to, either parts wise or time wise, been able to get what I need done. So I just haven't had a video to put out to you guys, but this will go out today. It's Friday, and I'll check in with you guys over the weekend, and hopefully see you guys for videos Monday, Wednesday, and Friday next week. So that's it. Love all you guys, appreciate you guys. Hope you enjoyed a quick talk and cruise with me in the C36, and enjoy yourselves. Catch you on the next one. Peace.
3, 2, 1, 0.